everyone, it's Lisa. Today on Doodle Draw Art, we're going to draw Max from The Secret Life of Pets. Now, I also drew Duke, and when I drew Duke, I went straight to marker on that one. So, this one I'm going to show you how to do the shapes. You can tell me which one you like better, which method you like better. You can also tell me which critter you like better. Some are Max fans, some are Duke fans, but they're both pretty awesome. So, to get started, you want to think about the shape of his head. So, if I look at the whole dog's head shape, it's kind of a long oval like this. Hopefully you can see these lines. Try not to press too hard because I will be erasing. That's the thing about working with pencil marks first, is you start off with gentle lines and then you build up to your final lines. So here we have this oval, and then near the bottom we're going to have the actual snout. So the actual snout of Max is going to stick out on the side a bit like this and curve under his chin. And then his actual nose is a nice big oval right here at the top of that bump out. And then he's going to have a little mouth. I'm just going to make him like looking a little guilty here. Just a straight line for his mouth here. It's going to be like curved in. And so this will be the bottom of his chin. And then his neck is going to come underneath here. So think about how big this oval was up here, coming to the top of his nose, and then just come in a tiny bit below that, like tiny bit inside, for this shape here to be coming down his neck. So we're going to have this back of the oval coming down this way, and the neck is going to continue. So now Max's body, his whole body, is all shaped a little bit like an egg. So it's going to get bigger at the bottom than at the top. So if we just draw a nice widening egg here that comes from the neck, this is going to be his whole body shape. So then we're going to think of his legs. He's got really skinny legs. So I'm just going to draw two little lines that come down here and here. And you can see that that looks like where his legs will be. Of course, they'll be a little wider than that. That's pretty skinny. And then to think about his back legs, we're going to draw like a teardrop shape here with a little oval on the bottom. That's a back foot, and then a front foot, and then a front foot, and then a back foot, and then another like chicken leg oval teardrop shape here. That's a little too high if I actually look at the character that I am looking at. My reference picture, his little back legs are shorter than that. So from here then, we can see that the shape of the whole dog is just this long swooping line from the top to the bottom. So now we can fill in where his ears will go. So I'm going to start just on the top of his head and draw a line that comes up and then sort of a straight angle down, and then a U shape that's going to start off with a curve here and then a U down and up. So there's one ear. And then on this other side, we're going to come up like this. And then we're going to make a flat top that's curved a little bit, and then a U that flops down from that one. And it's also going to come right up to the top and curve in toward his head again. So these are all the basic outlines that we're going to need for this guy. And then we also want to think about where to place his eyes. So we're going to have one eye right here above his nose. And this one's going to be like looking straight out like this. And then I'm going to give him a quizzical expression. So we're going to have one eyebrow come up and one eyebrow that's going to come down and over like, what? I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And then because of this eyebrow shape, we're going to make the eyeball a little bit flattened because this is, squishing in and making the eye look a little bit less open. And then we'll have the eyeball here in the center as well. And then he has a collar on. So let's see, I'm just going to reassess all of my shapes here before I get too far. And I'm going to actually shorten up his face a little tiny bit there, so his neck will be a little higher. Shorten that up like so. And then his neck is coming in here. So this is where the collar is going to go. It's going to swoop right around the dog like this. And we'll have a three-dimensional collar. So it's going to come down, over, it's wrapping around like so. And then he's wearing a little dog tag here that's shaped like a bone. So it's going to have two bumps, like a 3 backwards and a 3 forwards, and connecting here. And of course it says Max. Okay, So these are all of your sketch lines, and this will help us to balance out the picture when we're making all our final lines. So you can go right to marker on this, or if you want to, you can work with your pencil, because some of our lines are here already now. So let's go ahead and start off by making the top of his head. So I'm just going to make a few little furry bits here, come across like this, a few little furry bits in here, and then I'll draw the top of his ear coming over, a couple little pieces of fur sticking out there, and down to the bottom of his ear, and back up. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to have a couple little bits of fur sticking up, down around to the bottom, a couple little, just, you don't have to do these furs, I just feel like they add a little realism to this cartoon. All right, so now coming down from here, we're going to bring his face in quite close to the nose before we angle back out. Make a nice solid nose shape right here, and it's going to be fairly dark. Now there's nostrils in his nose, one like this and one like this. So those will be fairly front and center on this dog. It's going to be even darker in here. And then we have a line that comes around like this. It's going to come right underneath his mouth. And we're not going to go too far with this. We're just going to sort of stop and imply that it keeps on going. Now we'll draw a little line for his neck. Now I'm going to fix the placement of the mouth, which is, why we've used pencil all this time. So we can adjust our lines as we go. And his mouth is going to be more in this little spot right here, like so. All right, so let's hop back up and finish his face. So we have his little fluffy bits here, and it's going to come in a little closer like this, and down and down. This is his neck. Down we go towards the collar. Down we go, and there we have it. Now he has a patch of color. It's going to come between his eyes like this, and then right underneath this eye, and then diagonally sort of heading over his snout toward the side of his face, like that. So this will be his brown with his ear, and his other ear will be brown, and then the rest of him is all white, except for the back, which you can't see. All right, so now let's draw in the eyebrows. So this one is going to swoop over like this, and swoop up like this. So this is just a darker brown part of his eye. And then same thing on the other side. We'll just make a little thickness here and make these will be filled in with some brown. All right, now for his eye, nice, solid, roundish shape. I say roundish because it's not a perfect circle, it's circular. And then we can make the black part of his eye and leave a little shiny bit right here. Color this in. You can do that with a marker. And then we'll draw the brown of his eye all the way around that center, like so. And then same thing on this eye. We'll draw the eye shape first. And like we said, it's a little squashed in, so it's not going to be as much round as it is oval. And then we'll make the black part of his eye with a little sparkle. And then the brown right around it, like so. And then there's some extra little lines here that we can erase that are in the white part of his eye, just to clean that up. Awesome. All right, so his nose is going to have some texture. Let's just clean up these little sketch lines that have made their way into his nose. And it's going to darken up the nostril area. And then we can just make some little dots to show that his nose is soft and shiny and rough and bumpy and whatever dog noses are. You know what I'm talking about. It's going to be darker down here, lighter at the top. We can do this with shading, or we can make these little cross hatches. Either one. Either way works, depending on what your final plans are for the shading of this critter. All right, so here we have nose coming under to chin. Now we're ready for collar. So the collar's coming from behind, so we have this little edge showing. And it's a fairly solid looking collar, leather and all. It's going to have little holes for the attacher. And then there's a little line here where the part came through itself. What do you call that? A belt loop sort of thing. We keep on going, make the end of the belt with another hole right there. And then we're going to keep on going. And then we're going to have the place where his dog tag is hanging. Now this, see, this is a little thicker than the collar itself. And then it has a loop going through it like this. And then another little thing that it hangs down from before we make this tag. Awesome. Okay, keep on going with the collar over past the neck and around. Bring some fur in there, and then we'll come out and sort of straight down like this. Almost done the collar. Around and touch. Great. All right, so let's just clean up some of these lines so we can see the real shape of the character that we're drawing. It's looking pretty good. What do you think? It's going to be more shadows in this little section of him right here. If you think about the light source kind of coming from above here, then that means that under here it's in a shadow, so this will be darker. And then under here it's in a shadow, so this will be darker. Back here there's a shadow on the side of his head, so this will be darker. And then if you wanted to think about the shadow coming down along here and underneath his chin, and then this casts, his nose is casting a shadow all the way across his back like this. So these will be the shadowy parts of Max. Like that. Okay, then we're going to draw his shoulders. So we don't want them to be too fluffy, but maybe just a little. So we're going to curve gently over like this. Maybe like a little fluff there, because he's pretty short-furred dog. And then we're going to come down a little further, and we're just going to curve around the bottom of his foot. Now, you see I didn't exactly touch this line that I made, because it wasn't exactly right. When I got there, I thought, oh, his body has to keep curving and go out when it gets there. And then we're going to have little toes here, little fluffy, furry toes like this, and come up and just sort of hint at the top of his leg. So now I'm going to erase this little chicken leg that I drew before. This is the actual edge of the dog. And then let's draw this leg here. So think about this one ending this sort of area. We're going to hop on up to about, like 2/3 of the way up, maybe. So now we're going to aim in towards the skinny line that I drew. That's too skinny. And we're just going to come down, maybe make it a little fluffy, come down, fluffy, come down, just get little skinny legs right down to his little foot. And then we're going to make sure that he's like standing on the ground here. All his feet are going to line up. In fact, these ones might just come a little bit further. So as we come down, and make this little foot, these little toes right here, and come out like this. And then we've got his toes on the side, so we're going to come back in. And we're going to, maybe we should start up here. So it's not like him too skinny, but see this starts up here. Let's come down to start this one. We're going to come around like this and get in closer like this. Skinny, skinny at the bottom, like this, and then his foot. So now I'm going to erase those little extra lines that were there from before, so you can see what I end up with there. You can just look at the reference picture here in the corner. When I'm editing, I will put a final picture up there so you can see what we're aiming for. And I'll probably put some other pictures down the side. You can click on those as well if you'd like to draw something else after. So let's see. We're going to go this way for his other shoulder. They're going to be about equal. This one, he's kind of on an angle, so we're not going to come out as far. Just going to come down, down, down. Now, remember what we did in the last one? We didn't come in to meet this. We stayed out, and then we just like bumped out there to show that's where his leg is, foot is. Curve in a little more so that we have his back foot now. Those back feet sit right on this line that I drew, so a little half moon shape. Some little toes in there. And then we can draw, see if we did this one. We can do the same thing here. We can have this little leg sort of shaping itself around until you get to the foot. Like so. And then we have to do this other leg. So same thing we did before. Start up here And let's think, okay, his body comes in like this. His little leg is going to be like aiming down, getting closer, all the way to here. I'm going to make like a little foot sticking out. So, and I'm going to go back up and in to about this high. So I'm going to have a little fur coming down, skinny, skinny leg, all the way until it meets here. And just clean up the lines that are sitting in behind here. So all we have left to do is draw his belly where it's sitting on the ground. His little doggy belly. Okay, so in here, he's just gonna have some little bits of fur that connect. And then we've got like shadows coming this way from this leg. And the shadows coming back here from this leg. And little bits of fur to show where his belly sits on the ground. All right, so those are all the lines you need to draw Max. And we could color him in. So why don't you tell me what you think, whether you prefer when I show you all these little sketch lines in the process of balancing the character, or like the way I drew Duke, and all I did for him was go straight to marker, final lines, and I'm going to use a combination of big and small for my Sharpie. So first now I'm just going to do his eyes with a small Sharpie, and I'll do all my fine details with this skinny marker. Then I'm going to come back with my bigger marker and do all the rest of the details. So please give me some comments here. A little feedback would be great. You might notice my subscriber count is coming up on a very significant number. I'm soon going to have 100,000 subscribers. Thank you all for your support. Trying to think of a way to celebrate 100,000 subscribers. I'm toying with the idea of a video a day for 100 days. That's a lot of days. Do you think I could do it? I'm not sure. That's one thing I'm thinking of doing. Other than that, you could give me your feedback. What you would like to see me do to celebrate. All right, so thanks for watching. I'm gonna do the rest of this in time lapse, or maybe I already am. Sometimes I get talking here, and when it comes to editing them, like nobody needs to see all this. So I go straight to edit in time lapse. So yes, thanks for watching. Please click like if you liked watching me draw this video, and subscribe. Join the masses. Subscribe for more Doodle Draw art. Thanks for watching. See you next time.